All right, shalom, shalom to the nation of Israel, shalom. All right, this is your brother Kazaki out of Great Millstone. The wall is coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Shah, right? But prior to getting started, we want to give all infinite honor and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, Bashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles like Great Millstone, rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, all right? And the title of today's lesson is going to be It's Here The M.O.T.B. All right, that is the title of today's lesson is It's Here The M.O.T.B. All right, and this is a article off the I believe it's off the whitehouse.gov, okay? And it says what? Presidential actions, okay? And it says winning the 6G race, okay? That's what it says. It says winning the 6G race, right? So basically, similar, it's basically a technology race, okay? All right, they want to basically implement what, a broadband, a spectrum broadband of what 6G everywhere, okay? And with this 6G comes what? The M.O.T.B. That's what it comes with, man, okay? Now, which we're going to get, the scriptures, right? But in Revelation, the 13th chapter, it speaks on this, man, okay? All right, but we're going to get a little bit of the article, okay? Right, this is December 19th, 2025, just a few days ago, right? And it lets you know, look all these different sections, right, of the government that's on board with this, man, okay? So this is letting you know that, they're not going against each other, okay? This is just straight up what it is. We're all on board with this tech, okay? All right, this is section 1. A purpose. It says the next generation of mobile communication networks, 6G, will be foundational. Okay, foundational, right? The foundation of something is basically what? the beginnings of something, okay? All right. And it says to the national security, foreign policy, and economic prosperity of the United States. It says this technology will play a pivotal role in the development and adoption of emerging technologies, right? So technologies that are coming up, right? That's new to the people, okay? That's not really, it's on the forefront, but not fully implemented in society, okay? Well, it'd be like like you're living in a whole new world, so to speak, right? Okay? And it says emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, robotics, and implantable technologies, okay? And that is the point, okay? We know the artificial intelligence is on the rise, right? The stores are being able to run itself, okay? You could just walk in the store, put something in a basket, take something off the shelf, put it in a basket, okay? Bag it up, walk out, all right? And it's going to charge your card. It's going to know exactly what you took, how much it is, plus tax, charge your card, okay, all without being able to pull out your phone or your so-called credit or debit card, okay, your bank card, okay, and they're just slowly massaging this in, man, right? They got the biometric scanning, from Amazon. Okay, pay with your palm, right? This devil is crafty, man. He knows what he's doing. All right. It says, artificial intelligence, robotics, man. What does the robotics part play in that? Right? Shipping yards, autonomous vehicles, right? You're not going to really need a person, for Uber, right? If Esau, Edom, the Edomites, the so-called white man, can have it his way, you're not going to need a person for Lyft, okay? Or taxi, so to speak, right? Amazon will have AI, robotics running all over the place, right? Okay, so on and so forth, And it says implantable, right? Technologies, man. And the implantable technology is the M.O.T.B. Okay, so they're letting you know what it is straight up, They're not sugarcoating it or anything like that, man. You know, so for all these other people that's saying that that's not what it is, it's here. It is what it is. So what are you gonna do? Okay, are you gonna be prideful and keep teaching the same old BS, right? You know this, the heresy, just a flat out lie, man, because of your pride, man. Or you doing it for filthy lucre, or whatever the case may be, right? Whatever delusion or deception that Yahweh Shema Shah got you on, man. It says 6G will also provide faster, more resilient, and more secure communication networks that can be utilized for national security and public safety purposes. You see that? Public safety purposes is what this is going to be used for. Think about that. You know? Public safety purposes for the implementation of the M.O.T.B. National security. You ain't gonna be able to go nowhere or do anything. Airports, roadways, right? Even all the way to being at your job. So-called punching in and punching out. Everything is gonna be handled by this system that they're planning to set up. Okay? Now, I'm gonna get this real quick. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, "Lest Satan shall get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." Same verse in the GNT. It says, "In order to keep Satan from getting the upper hand over us," right? And it says, "For we know what his plans are." So we understand what is going on, man. We understand that, that he wants to basically enslave and rule the world, right? He wants to be like the Most High, according to how the scriptures, what the scriptures say. Okay, this devil is very crafty. He's very cunning, right? And he's already massaging it into the minds of the people to accept this without really a second thought. Like it would just be the next new big thing. Okay. Before the actual force, the forceful part. Okay. I'm gonna get this scripture. This is the main scripture right here. Okay. This is Revelation 13 and verse 16. Stop here. Go back here. All right. This is a Revelation 13 and verse 16. "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." Okay. And this is what the government is talking about, right? What does it say here? It says, let me see if I can highlight it. Okay. Implantable technologies. Look at that. Okay. Implantable technologies. All right. You can't get around that. Right? Same thing the elders and apostles have been saying, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, is coming into influence and it's coming true. Right? Okay. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, man. All right. Okay, and it's verse 17, and it says, "And that no man might buy or sell save he that had a mark," right? So you got to have the implantable technology, the M.O.T.B, right? Or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. It says, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it's the number of a man, and his number is 666, man. Okay, so 666, right? And he showed you that basically doing the the C19 time. Okay, you know what I'm saying? You had to basically be 6 feet apart from people. Okay, representing his number. All right. Okay, and You also, in certain places, I'm not sure if they adopted that here, but in certain places, I believe it was like Canada, like you couldn't have more than 6 people in one household and for like a gathering. You know what I'm saying? If you have more than 6, then your neighbors will rat on you, and everything just falls downhill from there. You know what I'm saying? But the point is, he's showing it, man. Okay, he's still, he's making it more and more blatant and more obvious, man. Okay, this is what the government, right? United States government will push on the people. Okay, which is spearheaded by the wicked elite, man. By these elite banking families who basically wants to enslave the world, man. Right? They want to track every single thing you do, right? Which is the same thing, a God will be able to do, or capabilities. Okay, they want to know the thoughts. Matter of fact, they want to be able to control your thoughts. They showed you that in different movies. Okay, I watched a movie, I believe it was called Implanted, where a person, basically took the M.O.T.B. and the system just messed up and made her do things she didn't want to do. It's basically either do those things or it was going to unalive them, But it's here, though. It's here. The M.O.T.B. it's here, man. The implantable technologies is here, man. If you take that mark, I'm going to go and get it, too. Going to scriptures, you're going to be destroyed, okay? It says, this is Revelation 14 and verse 9, and it says, and a third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, okay? The receiving of that implantable technology, that M.O.T.B, right? Getting stuck with it, right? All right. It says, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of the indignation, and the cup of his indignation, mixture, and Salakia, it says, mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Okay, so there you have it, man. This is the future judgment, right? You don't take it, you know what I'm saying? Everything from this point on is just all faith, man. Right? You're producing, you're not taking it. You're trying to maneuver within society, according to the scriptures, right? The scriptures say you're going to have to basically be pilgrims on the earth. Okay? You're going to be on the move, you're going to be on the run, from persecution, so on and so forth. Certain brothers that get spiritual powers, whatever the case may be, right? To help them to be able to sustain themselves. But like I said, it's here, man. And I actually want to get this real quick. See if I can get this. Okay, and this is the word mark. Okay, which in the verse we read earlier from Revelation 13 and verse 16, this is the word mark. Okay. All right, this is charagma, right, which is the word, right? It says a stamp, an imprinted mark. It says other marks stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist, right? So you take this, you're basically forming an allegiance, an alliance, right? You basically are transferring ownership, saying this is my power, okay? It says the mark branded upon hearts. It says thing carved, sculpted, okay, graven work. All right. So this here, okay, will be what? It will be basically like an etching, right? Like it says, an imprinted mark, sculpted, carved into, it will be implanted into the flesh. Okay. All right. There's no way around that, but right. Oh, let's get this out of the Strong's definitions real quick. Okay. It says from the same as G54 82, it says a scratch or etching a stamp as a badge of servitude. You see that? You get this? It is as you if you're getting a badge of servitude, a scratch, incision, okay, into the flesh, okay? And it says, or sculpted figure, statue, graven, carved into, okay, mark, all right? So like I said, it's clear, okay, that it's here, man, all right? The M.O.T.B. You see that? Winning the 6G race. It's from the whitehouse.org. I'll read just a little bit more in this article. I'll catch a little bit more. And it says, it is the policy of the United States to lead the world in 6G development. And that's what these devils want to do, man. That's what this cat and mouse game is all about, right? They don't want China to be number one. They don't want North Korea to be number one. They don't want Russia to be number one. The U.S. wants to stay the powerhouse, okay? All right? So they said, okay, we got to lead the world in so-called innovations, right? Technologies, okay? So we're going to be the standard, right? We're going to set up the system, okay? And everybody else will wander after us, right? Everybody will want to be like the beast, so to speak, okay? And it says certain steps are necessary to achieve the goal of this policy, including steadfastly advancing American interests in the international standards of bodies, right? Standard bodies. It says that will play a crucial role in 6G development, okay? And it says, and identifying a significant volume of radio frequency, right? And that's what's, that M.O.T.B. radio frequency, okay? Radio frequency, basically identification. Okay. All right. And it says radio frequency spectrum that can be harmonized for 6G networks internationally. Okay. So everywhere, or at least all over the place, man. Okay. Right. It says, my administration has been studying multiple spectrum bands this year to determine what federal spectrum can be reallocated to commercial use for 6G development without undermining national security missions that occur in conclusions of those evaluations, right? Which that's, basically BS, because at the end of the day, even if they do undermine certain aspects of law or etiquette or, whatever, anything that's just morally right, they're going to do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? They're going to bypass all of that. They're going to have it from order out of KO. Very simple, okay? And it kind of goes into the Hertz, right? And different things like that. Okay, I'm gonna read this little part right here, maybe the first sentence or two out of letter B. Okay, it says no later than 12 months, okay, from the date of this memorandum, right? The assistant secretary shall submit to the president through the assistant to the president for economic policy, right? So on and so forth, all the different whatever delegates, right? Let me see if there's another part. Okay, and lets you know what this is a part of in section 3. It says spectrum designation. It says what of the one big beautiful bill, okay, act. Okay, so we know who that's by, right? I think that's pretty much it. There was one on here that kind of caught my eye, but yeah, you brothers, you get the time, it's a good article, a good read, on what this devil's plans is. Okay, all right, but yeah, that's pretty much all I have through the spirit and power. Y'all about Shimon Shai. Okay, look, Lord willing, this is edifying first and foremost to the hopeful elect. The title of today's lesson is, look, man, it is here, the M.O.T.B, right? Okay, it is here, the M.O.T.B, man. And this devil's going to move with rapid fire speed, right? A godlike speed, right? God speed, okay, to implement this, man. Okay, it's gonna be fast. It's gonna be quick because what the scriptures tell you what he know he got a short time. Okay, for a fact. I'm gonna actually get that real quick and end it on that. I believe it's Revelation 12 and verse 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he know that he have but a short time." All right, so hey, look, man, this devil knows, right? This deceiver, right? With the implantable devices, implantable technologies, okay, coming with the M.O.T.B, right? Coming with martial law, right? Coming with war, right? Woes and calamities will be put on the people from Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, man, right? Like the elders say, all roads lead to the M.O.T.B. And no one's deviating from that, starting with the elders and apostles on down at Great Millstone, okay? To be sure, the proper teachers of this, okay? But anyway, like I said, that's all I have pretty much through the spirit of power. Yahweh Shem Shah, Lord willing, this is edifying first and foremost to the whole elect. But prior to getting out of here, we want to give all infinite honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah Ba'Shem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be to the whole elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, all right? Kwam Yasha Allah, Ababa Ball, Shalom.